Pretty and petty as fuck.
Does this mean you stop wondering about her credentials? Because to me, you can't pretty your way out of this.
Emotional intelligence is just this, y'all. It's identifying your emotions, being able to regulate them, and then express them, all while having a conversation with somebody who may or may not agree with you. So if we have a conversation, I should be able to articulate to you, Jennifer, this is how I feel about it. And if you said, Doc, you crazy as hell, I don't agree with nothing you said, this is how I feel about it. I should be able to regulate my emotion after that and still be able to have a glass of wine with you after like nothing happened.
Parenting creates gentle children. Sign me up. I definitely want to create more gentle adults, especially men.
Very, very gentle, very soft, and very feminine. And this is the problem. Toure, you talk to your wife like that. You don't talk to me like that. I am not your wife. You don't talk to me like that. I'm not your wife, gentle. I'm not your wife, softie. Don't talk to me like that. You talk to your wife like that. Not me. Toure, talk to your wife like that. Do not talk to me like that. That is not how you That is not how you professionally approach me. Don't fucking talk to me like that. Check.
Frank and Ariva, I apologize.
Check yourself. You don't talk to me like that.
Hold on,
Talk to your
Doc.
wife like that.
Doc, hold on.
Shut the fuck up talking to me like that. That's what you do. That's what you do. You better tap into your gentleness and real quick.
We ready?
I've been ready. Been ready.
Thanks for the tip.
Ariva, Frank, you guys ready?
Yep.
You ready, Toure, to wrap this up?
Yes, as I was doing.
And then we'll speak off camera. Here we go.
We always ask, when should a parent be held responsible for their children's behavior, whether it's at school, tantrum in Walmart, whatever? Let's flip the lens. There's a difference between the parent mourning a child lost to violence and the one silently praying because their child pulled the trigger. One gets sympathy, the other gets silence, but both carry a pain the world rarely understands. So tonight, the part we never talk about, ask yourself, not as a spectator, but as a parent of a child who took a life, how should society treat that parent? Should the law hold them accountable or let them live with the weight in silence? Would you deserve compassion or a conviction or a bunch of I told you so's? It's a tough one, but that's what we do on Truth Talks. Hit us in the comments and let us know how you feel. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for Bring the Funk family for welcoming the Truth Tellers to the channel. This is our last week on Roland Martin Unfiltered. To continue to see the show and support Black media, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Truth Talk/live, where you can catch us every night at 8 p.m. EST and at 11 p.m. EST. Support Black media at Cash App's Truth Talks Live or on any of the links on your screen. Get your Truth Talks membership today. Click here on the screen and you can choose from 3 different exciting tiers. Black media is under attack and this show is being shadow banned, so support us by telling a friend to tell a friend to check us out every night at 8 p.m. See you next time on our channel.
Good night, y'all.
I don't want my platform to be fake. That shit.
Why would you call her a doctor, brother? I'm not saying your platform is fake at all. I'm just saying, when somebody say Dr. Bryant, it irks me. Where's her colleagues? Where's she a doctor at? Because I've done the research.
And it was what?
I don't see doctor nowhere. If somebody is a doctor, they will be proud to show you, I'm a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
She can't do it. She just says it. This is a fantasy that woman is living. I mean, like, you don't see everybody to see you, Sister Bryant. We know it's a girl you call your bodyguard, but we know it's more to it than that. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here in the streets. So I can't say what this girl is that you call in your little security sometimes, but you know what I'm saying? There's people who know y'all and they talk. So, and all this doctor stuff, I mean, come on. Where is the proof that you're a doctor? Can you just do that online? Instead of all of the glamour videos with all the makeup on and everything, show us you're a doctor and how you became a doctor and how you practice being a doctor. You're just doing.
And I'm gonna interrupt this just for a minute. This is from a year ago, if y'all don't know, or over a year, at least a year. I think it said 1 year, but right. And here we are, full circle. Things falling apart. I think it's a downward spiral, but I'm gonna let it continue, and I'll give my commentary after.
On the internet, talk like everybody else, except you wanted to put doctor on your name. Prove to me you're a doctor so I can eat crow and apologize. But don't come with that little nonsense online shit. That ain't gonna work on me. I know.
Oh my God. This is so stupid. So I let it play on regular speed all the way through. I'm going to fast forward it when I replay it again. But child, there's something wrong with that woman. Poor Franksky and Ariva Martin sitting there like, I know you effing lying. They said, we're not a part of this type of shit. They said, we don't deal with shit like this. I'm surprised they didn't hang up. I guess I don't know if they're regular hosts. I don't know, how this show works because I don't watch it. But child, Cheyenne is being Cheyenne and being a typical black woman, which is what? I'ma tell you. You're not gonna tell me. I'ma tell you. You heard what I said? Because I'ma tell you. You're not gonna tell me. I'ma tell you. Right? Is that not what just happened? I mean, it couldn't have happened to a better person. However, she still looks crazy out here. This is your doctor, yeah. This is the person that you go to for advice, for relationships, for how to handle relationships, whether it's romantic or not, how to get along with people or not. And this is how you act. This is what you get with a non-credentialed doctor. Allegedly, in my opinion. He's just a gentleman. That's what he means, allegedly. That's not what I mean when he says it, but he can mean that all he wants to. Thank you, boo. He said, couldn't have been me. I would have said her degree is as real as her background. Goodbye. And that nasty hair on her head is giving GED. Goodbye, sir.
No, I don't know. I gotta kind of love, hate. I don't know. I like this woman, Messi Michonne, but she kind of, I guess she's a right winger, maybe, evidently, allegedly, because she come from some right wing talking points occasionally, sometimes, a lot, I guess, but it's like sprinkle. It's a little sprinkles of that, and kind of her views on racism, the way she be saying like it's fake and all that, or exaggerated or whatever, which it can be to an extent, but shit be going on. It is what it is, Anyway, I'm just saying, if you see my facial expression kind of getting twisted.
Oh my God, y'all are out of control. Thank y'all. Let's go back through it. She definitely spazzed out. So they're talking about should parents what it is that you want, and that be the problem right there. You're too easily led. You can't stand on business, as what's his name said. Y'all don't stand on business. Y'all stand on chaos. That's it. That's all. And that be the problem most of the damn time. Shout out to HMG in the building. I appreciate you. Boo, he said, imagine her off camera arguing. Hell on wheels. Anybody interested? I think she's single. Gentlemen, anybody interested? I think she's single.
Miss Cheyenne Bryant having this trademark for Dr. Bryant does not give her a legal reason to use the trademark in the way that she's using it. Who told y'all that? Get in here. If you don't know me, I'm a licensed attorney, been licensed almost 9 years in Indiana and Illinois, both state and federal. I will show my credentials at the end of this video, but let's break this story down. There's a lot going on, so I have some notes. Miss Cheyenne Bryant has a trademark, this trademark here. She received it December 18, 2017. If you guys look at this trademark, as you see, she have a trademark for coaching workshops and seminars, educational and entertainment services, namely motivational speaking, life coaching, as well as group coaching. Getting a trademark is not the problem for Dr. Bryant. That's not her issue. But the way she's using it is certainly an issue. The problem with getting a trademark is it is extremely easy to get a trademark, but can you defend your trademark? To get a trademark, all it takes is for you to pay $2,500 to $3,000, file a trademark, and you can get a trademark. The USPTO office does not police trademarks. And what that means is if there is not a person that opposes your application and or filed for a cancellation of your trademark, you can have a trademark for pretty much anything. They're not checking to see if your use of the trademark is legit, deceptive, real, fraudulent. I can literally file a trademark for your brand name, and unless you oppose that application or challenge it via a cancellation, I will own the rights to your trademark. That's very important, because just because Miss Cheyenne Bryant has a trademark for Dr. Bryant does not mean that the USPTO have stamped her use as being legal or give her a legal reason to use it. Okay? Now, as an attorney, I have to be very careful with my words. The way that attorneys are very careful with our words is we do not talk from our hips. We pull out the statutes. So I want to direct you guys' attention to the statute. For those with critical thinking skills, you can read along with me. The Layman Act is what controls trademarks, okay? If you go to section 15 USC 1052, you will see that it governs cancellations of trademarks at any time. Paragraph A prohibits deceptive trademarks from being registered on the principal or the supplemental register. This is really important, guys. Let's break this down further. Getting a trademark, I told you, was easy, but you have to be able to defend your trademark. Similar to, you have to be able to defend your dissertation in order to get a PhD. So, easy part is getting a trademark, but her attorney should have told her, if you intend to keep this trademark forever, there's a possibility that someone may cancel your mark. So you want to make sure that your mark is one strong and that you're using it appropriately, so that way you would be able to defend yourself. And I believe, based on the facts and the evidence that's out in the public record at this time, it would be very hard for Miss Cheyenne Bryant to defend her trademark unless, in fact, she does have licensed credentials, okay? Now, all of this is allegedly, because Sister Grift may have a license and she just don't want to tell us. But I would tell you, as a black lady, if I had a license and you guys was calling me out, I would slap my license on the table so quickly we would not all be having this debate still, okay? But allegedly. So let's go back to the issues that she's going to have with defending this trademark. Again, we're not talking out our hip. We're going directly to the statutes. If you go to 1064, I'm going to place it here so you guys can read along with me. 1064, okay? At any time, if the registered mark is deceptive, right, it can be canceled. When I say deceptive, what do I mean? Anytime you use a trademark that leads the public to believe that you are licensed, you're going to run into an issue because it's now deceptive. What the USPTO is going to weigh is, did consumers believe you to be a licensed professional? And I think with the clips I'm going to show you, one can make an argument that consumers did believe that she was Dr. Bryant. And when I say doctor, I'm referring to a licensed doctor, okay? If you look at the clip here that she had with Nick Cannon, 336,000 views at the time that I'm recording this. Nick Cannon refers to her as a therapist. They talk about counseling. Miss Cheyenne Bryant talks about watch her sessions. Listen to this clip.
17 years in her profession as a therapist. And
if you watch the next clip, this is Miss Cheyenne Bryant stating in her defense of whether or not she's a doctor or not. You guys saw her sessions public. You can watch her sessions.
It's very simple. I went to a school, Argos University.
She did another interview when she referred to the sessions. She referred it to B. Simone and Nick Cannon. So let's highlight B. Simone session that she did. In the B. Simone session, Miss Cheyenne Bryant talks about B. Simone refers to her as a therapist, talks about their therapy. Miss Cheyenne Bryant refers to herself as a psychology expert and a therapist. She then talks about her journey of where she transitioned from being a doctor and doing sessions, or she transitioned into being a doctor and doing sessions. So take a listen to this.
Started off as a marriage, family, and child therapist, transitioned into a doctor, into private.
Here's another one. This one is from a client that did a session with her, in tears, crying. Guys, I was not going to say anything. I decided to make this video after watching this client here.
2 suicide attempts. You think I wanted to reach out to her, look for platforms? You think I wanted to reach out just for myself? No, I wanted to help, which is what I have now. And suffering from a traumatic brain injury, things look different from.
I think when you watch things collectively, an argument can be made that this trademark that was registered for Dr. Bryant is leading consumers to believe, in fact, that she is a licensed practitioner based on how she represents herself. When you are working with an attorney, it is very important that attorneys are not just allowing you to get trademarks for anything. We should be advising you. Her attorney should have advised her, yes, you have a trademark for entertainment services. You can do motivational speaking. You can do entertainment, okay? The things that she listed in her trademark, you can do those. What you cannot do is refer to yourself as a therapist unless you have a license. Refer to yourself as doing therapy unless you have a license. Why? Because you're at risk of a couple of issues, and the issues are not going.
Man, this woman says she has 6 degrees, which I want to put a clip of that in here. I don't know if I'll do it, but where she said I haven't heard anyone call her out on it. I ran into 6 degrees. Every time I hear it, it's just so crazy. She didn't say I, obtained, I earned, I whatever. She say that too, and with all the lies, but I ran into. I did this, I did that. You ran into 6 degrees? What the hell does that mean?
Are not going to be strictly with the USPTO office, okay? Here's a couple other issues that Miss Cheyenne Bryant may be facing. Not only can a trademark be canceled for being deceptive, it's deceptive advertising, okay? To the public. You're marketing, you're doing sessions with people, they're coming to you believing that you're a licensed therapist, and you may or may not be. If she have a license, great, this isn't an issue. If she doesn't, that's a issue there. Consumer fraud claims could be another issue that's raised. Professional licensing could be issues, okay? Again, they're looking to see whether or not consumers relied on her representations and believe her to be a licensed professional. I think with the evidence, there's enough that one can make a claim. And again, she will have to defend herself. If she is licensed, she will win those arguments. If she's not licensed, we can be looking at an issue here. One of the things that was talked about was, well, what about Dr. Dre? What about Dr. Pepper? What about Doc Miss Stuffing? Here's the issue with that argument. Dr. Dre is not engaging in services that will lead the public to believe he's a licensed practitioner, okay? He do music. She can do music and be Dr. Bryant because no one is confused as to whether or not you're a licensed professional, okay? Doc Miss Stuffing, Dr. Pepper, that's a soda, pop, okay? No one's confused about whether or not you're giving me services that requires a license. So, not an argument here. She's not in the same lane as them. Had she only did life coaching, this would not be a conversation. Had she let the public to know I'm a life coach or anything of that nature, I am not a therapist, I am not a psychologist, using those words, we would not be here talking. But that is not what we're dealing with. So I think it's very important for us to pay attention to what we're dealing with in this situation. And this is not tear a black woman down, okay? We know that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, okay, Miss Cheyenne Bryant, we know that her clients have done some interviews essentially with her publicly, and they have attested to feeling that her interviews were effective. We know that she has the ability to build a massive platform. So what she's doing is effective, and she can do that without telling people that she's licensed. The goal here is not just to be popular. The goal is to make sure that you don't lose your wealth trying to be popular. You want to be paid, not popular. That's what this is about. My recommendation, if Miss Cheyenne Bryant is not licensed, to surrender her trademark.
Pretty and petty as fuck. Does this mean you stop wondering about her credentials? Because to me, you can't pretty your way out of this. You can't bikini your way out of this foolishness. I can't stand a liar. Y'all already know that about me. I can't stand a liar. Let me show you the video that Dr. Bryant put out. This is actually just one of them. Yeah. It doesn't stop here. It doesn't stop here, guys. It doesn't stop here.
Only you know who the V-dub, the black dub that's gonna fall for this okie doke stuff. And a lot of them ain't falling for it, especially since she called them out, which we all understand that that's when the issue really became, it became an issue for them. Besides that, they were fine with her and her shenanigans. But now, I mean, this is ridiculous. This is sad. To me, it's sad. This is worse than Trump trying to distract people. Ain't nobody. And really, I mean, maybe when she was younger, I'm sure. I mean, she's pretty-ish. She looked like an alien to me, honestly. All the makeup. If she washed her face, what she looked like. That's what I want to really know. I don't think she all that pretty, and she looked like an alien. I'm sorry, I'm serious. I mean, in the attitude to boot, I wouldn't. No, under no circumstances, I wouldn't touch her. I'm just saying. She probably wouldn't touch me either, and there's no probably to it. Let me rephrase that. She wouldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole, but I wouldn't touch her with one either. So we neutralized out. It's crazy.
What are we doing? She more than a goal, she a whole damn lifestyle. I'm in the club with all my bitches, cause she only loaded. All these racks on me, I can't even hold them.
This is Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
And that ain't low vibrational in her mind, because she talk about all of these things. That's not low vibrational. That's all good. All of those. You think she don't? Clearly, she don't have no children because of particular reasons. It can't be. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, I know the statistics on the baby deletions, unborn baby deletions, and all of that kind of stuff. So somebody doing them. A lot of them. I had the numbers. I ain't got it in front of me right now because this wasn't supposed to be that. This is about her. So let me just keep, and it is. Let me just keep it going.
Cheyenne Bryant. And apparently in 2026, if you look good enough in a bikini, people forget to ask, or you are telling people, you better not ask me questions like, are you qualified? Are you honest? Told you I can't stand a liar. Are you actually able to help people? Did you earn the authority you claim to have? Because even in your bikini, let me tell you something. These things actually matter, especially when it comes to the mental health space. As a certified life coach myself, I understand that honesty matters. Putting up a bunch of bikini pictures or videos should not disqualify you from answering the important questions. And if your entire brand is built on healing, is built on growth, accountability, and truth, then why are you upset that people are asking questions about yours? Instead of answering them directly, you're putting up bikini videos and you're giving us attitude posts like, y'all still talking? Yes, we're still talking because credentials in the mental health space are important. And I get sick of every time I turn around, oh, mental health is important. Pay attention to mental health. Let's ask about mental health. But we have so many of these so-called mental health experts that don't have the credentials to go behind that. And I think it's really important. Listen, you can try to distract people with your surgically enhanced body, but it's your integrity that's under investigation, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. There's been some confusion between doctor, therapist, psychology, counselor, and coach. According to reports, critics have questioned whether Cheyenne Bryant completed the requirements for a doctorate and whether verifiable records exist publicly. Requirements for a doctorate and whether verifiable records exist publicly. She herself said, oh, this is what happened. You can't find my dissertation. They somehow got rid of the records and they were willing to give me a refund, but then I wouldn't get the credit for something that I'm still not getting credit for because we can't find it. The lies. Again, I have a 2026 fully loaded Mercedes that I'll sell you for $5 if you believe this foolishness. And listen, my issue is not her being attractive. I know she is framing this as anybody who says something against her is just jealous. I'm not jealous, or my issue is not her being attractive. My issue isn't even her looking good in a bikini. My issue is not this lady being successful. My issue or my question is, did you accurately represent your qualifications? That's the question here. That's the conversation. Because as a certified life coach myself, there is absolutely nothing wrong with just being a life coach.
The amount of people. Here's the thing. If the issue is you're like, well, she didn't put in the work to get the PhD, and I think it's unfair for her to take credit for something she didn't put in the work for. That's fine. When y'all be like, she doesn't have credentials, I'm just kind of like, the concept of credentials at this point is very loose. It's very loose. I mean, I don't. Thank you, Val. It's like, listen to her or don't listen to her. She doesn't have any power over you. She's not doing anything legislative. She's not physically harming people. She's not mentally harming people. Hey, Alexa says, I'm a therapist and I don't give two. At the end of the day, my thing is this. We have to look at the bigger picture. If she was out here, like the fact that people still would like to quote, like this guy, what's his name? Who's the man that died? And he was like doing all of this couples counseling or whatever. He would sit there and disrespect women all day to their face. Like, what? I forgot his name. But people were swearing up and down by this man. He didn't have no goddamn credentials. Kevin Samuels. People didn't have he didn't have no goddamn credentials.
Kevin Samuels never called himself a doctor. Kevin Samuels never lied about having a doctorate in marriage and family therapy. Kevin Samuels never said he specialized in child therapy. Kevin Samuels never said that he was a mental health professional. Kevin Samuels never said that he was doing therapy live sessions. No, Kevin Samuels was talking to people who wanted to know, hey, how can I find a wife? And Kevin Samuels said, hey, man, you got to lose that weight. That's a whole lot different than an unlicensed woman lying about having a specialty in child therapy and parents actually trusting her to step in and give them advice on how to deal with their kids. How, like, do you not see the harm in this? Do you not see the harm in an unlicensed, non-degree holding woman lying about being licensed and holding a degree, doing therapy sessions and giving real life advice to people and dealing with mental health? You don't see the problem with that? Like, you don't see how that's like a non-consensual encounter? Like, if somebody is signing up to get coaching or get therapy from somebody online, it needs to be an informed decision. The minute it's not informed, is now non-consensual. If somebody signs up under the pretense of, okay, she's a doctor, she knows what she's talking about, she has the degree, the education, and the experience to guide me through my issues, and then they find out, oh, no, she doesn't have the education, the experience, the degree, and she's not qualified to be talking about these issues. Well, then they were hoodwinked, right? Now, we don't know if she's out here giving bad advice because we don't have access to those therapy sessions. We don't know what type of damage and how she's really effing up people with the bad advice that she's giving. But people like Amanda Seales, I guess, man, you feel me? Like, they much rather, like run defense for charlatans and scammers for whatever reason, right? Like, defending a charlatan to protect that relationship is, I guess, more valuable than doing what's right, which is calling them out. But let me know in the comment section, what do you got?
Come to the place of reaching out is a big deal. It's a level of vulnerability that people don't have. Sometimes they're grieving. Sometimes they're grieving. Sometimes they're traumatized. This is why it's dangerous to be faking and fronting like this in a mental health space. Sometimes they're traumatized. Sometimes people are coming to you severely depressed, hopeless, feeling like there's no way out, suicidal, desperate. And this is why the faking and fronting, it ain't cute. And I don't care how good you look in a bikini. You ain't that fine to be sitting here faking and fronting for somebody whose life is on the line, who's coming to you desperate. It ain't that much fine in the world. So the credibility in the mental health space is important. I would go as far as to say it is more important than in many other industries. You want to lie about your acting resume so that you can get a shot in a film? Nobody should die behind that. Nobody should be slicing their wrists behind that. Nobody should be contemplating jumping off a bridge behind that. But when it comes to the mental health space, you shouldn't be lying about your resume. When it comes to the mental health space and even being a life coach, I shouldn't be lying about being a ordained minister for years. That would not be okay. And even with that experience, I still felt the need to do something else until I completely stepped away. I don't do typically private clients anymore. But when I did, it was important enough to say, okay, my ordination papers, they just aren't enough. I know I've sat with people and I've counseled them based on my knowledge of the Bible or based on the fact that I had a collar on. But let me go a step further. Prior to just walking away. And now I'm just shaking my head with Shanika Michelle. Don't really need any credentials to do that. I still have them, but I'm not going to inflate who I am for popularity.
And Bryant on a TV show for about 6 months last year.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
And we got into a massive intellectual argument that came up through multiple episodes of the show. And that told me I totally saw this coming.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
The first time I talked with her, she told me she had 3 degrees, and I said, what schools did she go to? A lot of people are saying stuff like that. What school did she go to? Did she actually finish a doctorate? Did she actually write a dissertation? All of these simple questions were answered in a convoluted way during a press tour from hell that is damaging her image, one bad answer after another. This is probably the worst press tour of all time.
I played a doctor on television.
The problem with playing a doctor on TV and acting like that means you're a real doctor is that people think you're giving them help from a place of deep education, and you're not. Maybe you can actually be helpful for real for some people some of the time. But there's lots of therapists who've gone through the academy, the whole academy, and can easily prove that, who are deeply, deeply trained on how to help people who are in complicated situations.
I'm not a real doctor, but I play one on TV. But I can probably be a little helpful. You're dealing with something.
And they are licensed so that the world can know you can trust this person.
I'm surprised by this Cheyenne Bryant controversy. Because I never thought she had a PhD. Like, never. Something about her always gave honorary doctorate, at best.
So, when the press tour from hell took her to the mighty Joe Budden podcast, the trouble started. She explained that she was not licensed as a therapist anymore, and she did this in a very haughty tone, as though we were the dummies and she had to educate us. She made it sound like we had not been actively listening, and that was the problem. It was so condescending. She made it seem like being licensed had been holding her back somehow, and being unlicensed had freed her to be the best life coach and psychology expert possible. I don't know what a psychology expert is. That led to a wild storm online. Practically all of the Black licensed therapists on TikTok jumped up to explain that she's talking nonsense. You need licensure.
Hello, my name is Dr. Raquel Martin. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, professor, scientist, and podcast host who specializes in Black health and well-being. And I want to break down a clip from the Joe Budden podcast featuring someone who presents herself as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
A license is really only needed so you can bill insurance.
That is incredibly misleading. Yes, you do need a license to bill insurance, but that is not why licensure exists. Licensure protects you. It means I have completed specific education and supervised clinical hours, passed rigorous exams, and I'm accountable to a regulatory board.
So after the Joe Budden podcast, the press tour from hell took Cheyenne to the Breakfast Club, where she made it worse. They asked her basically, hey girl, where's your dissertation? She went into a long, roundabout, convoluted non-planation of why she can't get her transcript that sounded a lot like a digital version of The Dog Ate My Homework.
The conversation about your doctorate because people can't find your dissertation online.
It's very simple. I went to a school, Argosy University, completed an entire program. I went back online to get my official transcripts because I was applying to a law school many years ago to be a professor there. And I had to provide my transcripts, right, to get hired. And I went to contact the school and say, hey, I need my official transcripts. I need my entire thing. And there was no school. I was like, okay, I'm confused. I Google. It says this school has been shut down. I said, oh, well, they got to have records. I mean, they were accredited when I attended the school. They were accredited when I finished the program. I go and look, there is a third party that has the records. Where I contact the third party, that third party only holds records for 2 years. I was past my 2 years. So that means that I had no access to records. And then I contacted, financial aid. You can't make up financial aid. It shows that I paid for a doctoral program alongside my master's program and my undergrad program. And they said, we can fully refund you your money under one circumstance. We give you your money back. You don't get credit for not a class, a course, a program you took in this university, at this institute. So do you want us to refund you? Or do you want us not? I said no, because I didn't want to risk the chance of them saying, well, we're going to give you back your money, and it wipes out your entire program. Luckily, I had, I do this with all of the schools. I had downloaded from the actual student portal my transcripts at that time, and I was able to get just about all of my transcripts, including up to like dissertation. But everything else, there's just no holding take for any of our records, which I think is completely effed up. Just in general.
They are going to kill you online this week. They're going to say she has no records.
It's not even that there's no records that I don't. The school had a third party that carried the records only for a limit of 2 years. So it's not me, it's any student that attended Argosy.
Other people have pointed out that you can still get a transcript from her college that closed right now today.
I asked Google to get your records from the closed Argosy University. You should order transcripts and diplomas online through Parchment, right? So now Parchment is the third party company that she's speaking on. How long does Parchment hold on to transcripts from Argosy University? Parchment generally maintains access to digital records for closed institutions like Argosy University, often holding them for decades or indefinitely.
Today, May the 13th, 2026, I went ahead and I paid to see if I could get my transcript and how long it would take. I received a receipt. Then it says access transcripts.
He got access to his transcripts within minutes.
Many people have pointed that out.
As someone that holds the degree from the university that Miss Bryant reports herself to have, I have several questions and several points of clarification that will be made. The first is that the degree that she is speaking to is a Doctor of Education in Counseling Psychology from Argosy University. Parchment now holds all of the documentation from every student that attended that university. So she has access to her transcripts indefinitely. When you obtain a doctorate, People like to verify your credentials and verify that you obtained that degree. Moreover, you had to have completed a dissertation. I know because I did it for that degree. There are things that you should know off the top of your head, like what the title of your dissertation is. Mine is the Alabama KCREP and non-KCREP Counselor Education Graduate Students Readiness to Counsel Substance Use Disorder Clients. What is yours? Who's your dissertation chair? Mine was Dr. David Arena. I had one reader. You should have access to your dissertation, even if you don't have the full one, which is odd because they send you that too. You should have each chapter broken down because you send it in chapters. So where is it? And why are you unwilling to provide that information? Your clients deserve verification of your credentials. It is a part of our ethical compass and codes to do so. Not just with licensure, with any credentials that you use. The ACA 2014 ethical codes and standards require that any credential that you use needs to be backed up and verified and verifiable to all related boards and most especially to the client seeking your services. So the fact that you aren't willing to do that is problematic. It's disrespectful to the profession. It's disrespectful to your purported colleagues and most detrimentally to your clients. Please stop using them until you are willing to verify. Thank you.
So she's lying about being unable to get her transcripts. Within the long, winding story about being unable to get her transcripts, she said she had done it to apply to work at a law school. But she's never even claimed to have a law degree, so how are you going to teach at a law school with no law? But the question was not about transcripts, a record of the classes she took. It was about her dissertation, the big paper you write at the end that is the culmination of your academic career. If she had done a dissertation, she would be able to pull it up out of her computer, or it would be online already. It's not believable that you wrote a dissertation and now have no copies of it anywhere in the world and no way to access it. If you can't show it, if you can't prove you have a doctorate, if you can't provide any evidence, then maybe you should stop saying you have it.
Cheyenne Bryant went through all them loops and hoops to not clear up shit, so let me actually clear up what she was trying to say. What she was trying to say is, I don't have a doctorate degree. There is no dissertation. There is no documentation. I cannot show you a doctorate degree. But I am a master's level clinician without licensure. That's what she said. She went on there and said, people just want to hate me. People online just want to hate me. Nobody hates this woman. But we as a community have a right to shift the narrative away from this grifting, online, social media bullshit and put our community back in the hands of professionals with years of education and years of applicable experience to the thing that they are calling themselves an expert in. And while she does have some knowledge, she does have some education, she does not have the credentials to talk as fucking heavy as she do and or to be providing anybody with any life assistance.
You've mastered the art of being a doctor on television.
How can you even imagine someone who did all that work and has no receipts? And when someone asks you for receipts, you refuse to. This was the thrust of her next interview on the press tour from hell, because Messi Michonne in DC did not come to play.
Why not provide the proof of your degree? Why not?
Well, a couple of things, right? I have multiple degrees, and my thing is that my proof isn't something that I have to prove to individuals. My proof is already within my credentials, my degrees, and also more than just my titles, it's in how effective I've been. All of my sessions have been live. For the most part, my sessions with Nick Cannon, Cam Newton, Shannon Sharp, B. Simone, they have all been for the world to see, right? So no one knew who Dr. Bryant was prior to seeing all of my sessions that were live. And they deemed it as well as I did before they did it. They can't validate me. I validated myself. They deemed it as my work being effective. I am effective at what I do. I'm educated and I'm successful in my lane, and I'll land on this. I created my own lane. And so a lot of times, Marissa, when people see that you created something that maybe they couldn't, admiration turns into envy. And you got to be okay. And you got to be okay with that in that
as an
space.
attack. But I think, and I've gotten this question from many viewers, and I owe it to them in service to them.
Absolutely.
Why not drop doctor from your name if you cannot bring forth that doctoral degree?
So I've already covered this, right? And we're here obviously to talk about my new book. So I've earned the title. I have multiple degrees, and I'm not going to prove anything to anybody. And we're going to leave it just as that. Yeah.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
Baby, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
And that's where, and you're standing by that.
Standing by it. Yeah, because I earned it. Absolutely.
The real answer to the question, why doesn't she just back down? Why doesn't she say she's not really a doctor? The real answer is this. Cheyenne is all about doubling down. But she's saying, no, I don't need to give you evidence because
my proof isn't something that I have to prove to individuals.
And that sounds shady. Who refuses to give evidence? People who think giving the evidence would be worse than being attacked for not giving the evidence.
She has only financial aid documents showing she paid for a doctoral program. And if you listen carefully, the word doctoral in this conversation becomes a sticking point because she can't even pronounce the word. She pronounces it doctorial.
I paid for a doctoral program.
One would say that if you can't even pronounce the word, who is going to believe that you actually have completed a doctoral program? What she wants you to believe is that she's a victim of a corrupt institution. Conveniently, not someone who made up whole cloth that she has a degree that she hasn't completed.
I paid for a doctoral program.
Let me tell you my Cheyenne story. For several months last year, we did a 4-person talk show where she and I were the lead voices. I tried to get clips of it, but the third party that holds the records only holds on to old videos for 2 years. So on the show, we kept coming back to the same intellectual argument. All of this was on the show, on the air. I'm not talking about anything behind the scenes. For me, at the core of this intellectual argument was what y'all have been saying through this press tour from hell. Is she really an academic? Is she really a doctor? See, I'm a parent of 2 teenagers, and I believe because I have read and researched a lot on the subject, I believe parents should not hit children as punishment.
And actually, I believe this too, because I too I'm a parent of 6 children, and the research says that it's kind of common sense, but we taught from the Bible, spare the rod, whatever, that bullshit. And, it's just the way, especially in the black community, or especially in certain communities, especially in the black, because they say that's why they're doing this and doing that and the other. And that's what she was saying on the thing. They're going to be this way and that way. And that. Nah, that ain't how that works. You still got to take time and talk to them. You still discipline them, but I disagree with that. I haven't always, because like I say, that's how we were raised, and I didn't you don't know what you don't know, right? And and now that I do, I'm not I disagree with doing that. And if she had studied that, she would have got to that, maybe at one time they were for it in psychology, or they didn't have an opinion. I don't know, but things change. Things have changed. I know for a fact. I could think of a few of them because Dr. Umar used to be talking about that. But I don't want to make this too long. It's already pretty long, right? And let me let him finish.
There should be no corporal punishment in the home. I know that's triggering to a lot of people who are not child psychologists, but every major child psychologist today says it is definitely harmful to children.
People say, I hit my child to teach them. That's not how the brain works. A child cannot take in new information when they're in survival mode because all that oxygenated blood goes to the muscles to do all that fight or flight mode work. They're not hearing you. They're not processing information. They're trying to survive the moment.
Does spanking actually work?
No. And this is really important for people to know is the data is clear on this, and no child development researcher would ever tell you that spanking is a good idea at this point. No child development researcher would ever tell you that spanking is a good idea.
The first time I said on the show that there should be no corporal punishment for children, I assumed that Cheyenne would, of course, co-sign that because she's a family and marriage therapist, or so I thought she was. She claims to have a master's in family and child therapy. Surely someone who studied this deep in this field would agree with the major child psychologists of today. No, she said, and I quote, that gentle parenting stuff doesn't work. Wow. I was blown away that a person with a master's in child therapy and family therapy would seriously advocate for corporal punishment. The topic came up repeatedly like every other show, and every time I said corporal punishment is wrong, and that's an opinion built on consuming modern child psychology. And every time she would say that gentle parenting stuff doesn't work. I was blown away by her opinion and by how she expressed herself. That gentle parenting stuff doesn't work is not how an intellectual talks. That's anti-intellectual. You're dismissing and denigrating and looking down on violence-free parenting. Shouldn't you, an advocate for talk therapy of all people, be advocating for talking solutions rather than violent solutions? A real academic would not say things like, that gentle parenting stuff doesn't work. They might somehow outline a perspective explaining why violence is sometimes acceptable in parenting, which is a laughable concept, but there is a way to express that idea that fits with the way people who come out of the academy tend to talk. That gentle parenting stuff doesn't work is not how an intellectual would talk. Certainly not one who's in the family and child psychology field. I appreciate all of those who are saying, girl, where are your official credentials? That matters. But also, usually, we can hear your credentials when you talk. When I talk to my friends, Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, Dr. Melissa Harris Perry, Dr. Cornell West, I don't have to ask what school they went to. I can hear the academy tumbling out of their mouths. I can hear it in their perspective and in the way they express themselves. When she talked, I couldn't hear advanced degrees. So now that people are saying, hey girl, where did you go to school? Are you actually a doctor? I'm like, I get it.
It's important when it comes to the mental health space. And we shouldn't be blurring the lines between life coaching and clinical treatment. It's okay to simply be a life coach. But you should not be simply a life coach masquerading as someone who can offer clinical treatment, as some expert on psychology. And that's where we are now. It is very important that we talk about authority, because this is where trust comes in. This is where ethics comes in. Transparency and accountability.
Cheyenne Bryant on a TV show for about 6 months last year.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
And we got into a massive intellectual argument that came up through multiple episodes of the show. And that told me a lot. Basically, I totally saw this coming.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
The first time I talked with her, she told me she had 3 degrees. And I said, what schools did she go to? A